Record. Perfect. Now I think it's recording now. So we'll start with Bitcoin, and I'll start with the MAs on the daily. Now Bitcoin is so smooth to trade. Like, I think it's making it actually has a positive impact on my nervous system. I've noticed since changing from Ethereum to Bitcoin, I've been a lot calmer in getting my targets met. It was so predictable even on the day. So we had this, even though I didn't expect this to play out, I was watching smaller structures step by step play out, and I had this done for a while. I just was curious for the long-term patterns, if they play out similarly. Because I used to play patterns on the 4 hour, but never on the day, which would be a great strategy for spot trading. But yeah, so I took this conservative target, or somewhere around here, not the all-time high, and I put it at breakout, and the target was met to a T this weekend. So it was really interesting to see this double top formation play out. Now, once this is met, the next target to be looking at, because we have reached a long-term support and resistance where we are right now, somewhere in the region of, and again I'll be talking about ranges on the daily, because if we want to find out a more specific level, we'll look at the 15-minute or the 1 hour. But now for the big picture, I think it's good to talk about ranges, to know what to expect and what we need to hold. So around let's say 19,000, somewhere between late 17,000 and 19,000, there's a strong level of support and resistance, and we are around it. The 20k and the 19k are psychological levels as well, so every time they break, they might trigger off another well, I'm careful about choosing my words, another significant drop. So not, major spill down to 5k yet, in my opinion, will come down in steps as well. So I anticipate we'll be holding this level for a while. Like, if I'm looking on the left, so I'm back testing to see what happened in terms of holding levels on the way up. So how did we accumulate on the way up? From reaching a level, let's say 20th of November to the 16th of December. So it was almost a month of holding the level before moving up. Here we reached a level 3rd of January to 1st of February. So again, another month of holding the level before moving up. So I would anticipate we might be moving in this level, and by this level I will be taking into account the level that we got to this weekend. So it was the mid 17,000 to the 20 on the daily. And again, I know that on the daily it's quite a lift. It's a 40% move, but again, we might be moving within that range. I'm not saying we're going to get to the 25 grand straight away, but I am anticipating some more holding here for at least the immediate future. I'd say at least this week. If I'm to make a call and say what do I believe will happen, a little bit more holding, a little bit more sideways. Now that sideways will be beautifully tradable, because we're talking about daily levels here. So if the maximum range would be about 40%, I would say we might get nice 4 or 5% lift trades on a daily basis, or at least every 2 days, depending on how the sideways goes. So if we keep holding the mid 17,000, I see us moving sideways within a good range, because there's a large degree of volatility when the Bollingers are this open. it means that the volatility is high. We're going to get nice moves. So again, trading the levels on the 1 hour would be a high probability strategy for your trades. Now, if the big if is holding the 17,500, so holding the previous low, we might wick. We might, and I'll tell you on the short time when we do the short term analysis. I'll tell you what the condition is for breaking the previous low, though I'm pretty sure you know it, but I'll just repeat it. So we might wick a little bit below the previous low and then come back above the support and resistance level at 19,000, which again would count as holding the previous low. We will need to make a higher low as part of the impulse wave, but that counts as holding it. So if we don't break the previous bottom and don't consolidate below it, we're still holding it. It's still considered a double bottom structure. Now, if we break on the daily, the 17,500, if we break the previous low, then as you can see here, there was a super steep slope here until the next level. And again, the next level, I know it sounds very drastic, would be around the 13,000. And I'm a bit generous with the 13,000, but I'd rather be generous than, you know, not have targets met. So around the 13,000. So I will be looking to see if we break the 17,500 this week, because if we do, I'm looking to short it down to around 13,000. It depends on what kind of structure it makes. So again, I'm more inclined to go step by step and, you know, wait for my channels and wait for my 15-minute arcs to show themselves, because it increases the probability of my trade. So I'm still looking for getting 3 yeses before I do a trade. But the next level would be, say yes. No. Oh, I am so sorry. Thanks for letting me know. Oh, jeez, no, please do interrupt me. I thought I had. I started recording. So Lee, you might be happy to hear that everything that I've said has been recorded on a screen. So with the screen. So yes. So while can you see it now? Yes. Okay. Super. So can you see my daily Bitcoin MA and the double top formation with its target? Okay. I take that. Let me check. Yes, you can see it. Perfect. Perfect. Yes, you were texting me there. Now I'm mindful of not changing the screen because every time I change the screen, apparently my recording stops, but it hasn't stopped yet. So back to telling you about my levels. So for Bitcoin on the daily, we need to hold the previous bottom at 17,500, and generally speaking, the 19,000 and 20,000 K to see a lift up to the 10, which the 10 MA on the daily, which would be around 20, I'll say 23 grand, and then the 20 on the daily, which is 26 K. If we don't hold the 17,500, my next level will be 13,000, and 13,000 again. I'm quite generous. It might be 12, it might be 11. Again, I will plan my trades depending on the structure and the structure that it's coming out of and its particular target, because Bitcoin has been meeting very specifically the 1 hour targets. So in terms of movements on the MAs, we're trying to get above the 5 MA on the daily, which would be great because we haven't had that support in a long time, about a month. So if we close today above the daily, and tomorrow we continue if we close today above the 5 on the day, and then we continue from that onwards towards the 10 on the day, I do see a lot more movement upwards because we're gaining some support. On the 4 hour, we have nice support. We have the 20 and we have the 10 coming up. Unfortunately, as I was saying not yesterday, today, this morning, I was watching this structure this morning play out, and then we had this structure. So I'm not enjoying the large retracements that we have on the 4 hour. We are testing and retesting the 20. So I expected this to come up and meet the 50 MA on the 4 hour. It didn't do that. It didn't meet a long-term trend line, a local trend line, sorry. But this is a bearish formation here. I don't think it shows a topping out of the price. Of course, if you're shorting, which I am, happy days. It's gonna probably come down in the short term. But again, the condition is it can still go up. So take your profits from the shorts. I have my profit at 18,300. It's about 125%, which is great if it meets it. But I am looking to short deeper if it breaks the previous low. So I'm looking to see the structure that it builds there. At the moment, the 4 hour seems to be holding, but it's putting a lot of pressure on the 20 in terms of the weight of the candles. The price action is not really moving on. Like it goes up and then it retraces just as much, which makes for a very clear sideways at the moment. Now the 10 is coming up with some clear intention. The 5 is staying where it is. We might see a test of the 50 and then coming down from there. But as things are at the moment, I think we might be coming down first and then up. But down in the short term, holding the 17,500. Now I'll change to a daily level chart that I have, and as you can see, in this chart, the stochastic on the day is coming up, momentum is going up. Unfortunately, on the 4 hour, I'll keep the same levels. On the 4 hour, it's topped out. It has reached, well, close to the 55 EMA on the 4 hour, and it's sort of like shows a rounded top formation. But again, we are holding a long-term support and resistance, which we've seen. It's the 20 on the 4 hour. We're still in sideways. I'll show you how I traded this today, and then what the possibilities for it are tomorrow. Now, this was the structure that we were in this morning. We're pretty much in the same structure. What I've done since this morning was I've moved this line, not out of boredom, but because I've seen it. I had it slightly down here to have a touch point here and then here, which I'm quite happy about as well. But then I noticed that there's a more local point of support and resistance here in this quadruple top formation on the 15-minute, and I decided to move it there for a little bit of space. Now, the movement today was quite sideways between this. I shorted here at this double top formation. Sorry, not here, here, because I expected to see a double top this morning, and it did happen. I'm still in my short. I am planning on taking most of my profits, and by most of my profits, around, my target is 18,300. But most of my profits, I'll say 80% for the moment, depending on how the RSIs look on the 4 hour. I will be taking most of them here. I might be DCAing when we break this line. So this line again would be very nice for the shorts if it gets broken, but it's a point to be very careful about, because it might bounce off it and then head up to break the white one. So what I mean by that is do this and then consolidate here and then head for the 22, which is the 10 MA on the daily. So that would be in confluence with where the MAs are on the daily. So I'm not planning on taking a profit at the yellow line. I'll be watching it at the yellow line when it gets there. I'll be moving my, what I'll do is before I go to bed, I'll be moving my stop loss to my entry point, because if it gets back up here, I won't like it. It's accumulated all this while. I'd rather be out and then see where it is tomorrow when I wake up than to wake up in a stop loss battle tomorrow with a trapped trade. So I'll move my stop loss at my entry point. I'll be probably waking up and checking it to see what it does when it reaches this line, if it doesn't reach it by the time I go to bed. And then I'll set my take about 80% profits here, leaving a little bit in for this. If this happens to be trending sideways until tomorrow when I get to monitor it tomorrow, then I might be DCAing when it breaks this line just to maximize my profits. Even though it pulls my entry point slightly down, it's worth it, because I know that the trade has again greater chance of coming downwards some more. I know I have this as a marker on the line. I would be mindful of putting my target here, because it goes below the previous point. So unless you're watching it, it's good to have this trend line to know that to watch to see where it might go. But I would set a target somewhere more conservatively. Now I am very conservative with my targets because I'm also very grateful for my profits. So if you were to be a bit more adventurous, setting it down to 17,700 would be giving you a bit more profit, but I wouldn't go below 17,700, let's say. And the reason being is it might just do a higher low, a 1-2, and then head up. Because again, if it's holding that big support and resistance line around 17,500, it does have chances of a nice rebound, a relief rally towards the 25k, which you wouldn't want to be trapped in with your trade following it up all this while. You want to stay as adaptable as you can these times, because it's very volatile, and if you stay adaptable, you can take advantage of this volatility. That's why every time I post the charts, I post them with the validation and confirmation, so that you know that once it breaks that line and it confirms, if it stays below it, better leave the trade even if you're taking a small loss, because the gain that you'll be making going with the trade will cover for that loss. Now that's Bitcoin. That's how I see the levels at the moment. As the week progresses and as we go through the London and New York sessions, we will see these levels being met. So if we have a double bottom by, let's say, the end of tomorrow, we'll check to see how it holds that structure, how the MAs held when it was reached, and then looking to see what the stochastics on the 4-hour are doing. We will need the support of the stochastics on the 4-hour, which at the moment are not looking that great. They're coming down. They're maxed. The stochastic is maxed out. The regular RSI still has some space, but the 4-hour maxed out, and the 4-hour is a little bit more to watch these days because it's the one that has the more immediate response in these terms of volatility. I'm using it. I'm using it on the 15-minute both as a DCA and as an entry and exit signal, and on the 4-hour I use it to monitor the change of swings. So that's one of the reasons why I shorted today, was I saw the 4-hour coming down on the stochastic, so I realized that the momentum is favoring a down move. There was some, again, the stochastic also went sideways, so downwards and sideways, nothing spectacular today, but let's hope tomorrow is a little bit more volatile. So that's Bitcoin. Do you guys have any questions about Bitcoin? Are you in any trades at the moment in Bitcoin?
Yeah, I'm in a short of fights at the moment.
Very good. Okay. Very good. Good luck. Yeah, I don't see any reason right now for a reversal. But I would be mindful going to bed. I would be mindful of putting my my stop loss at my entry point, because I don't like what Asia might do tonight is to give it a nice little boost up, a spike up, and even if we're out of that trade, Lee, we'll still be waking up tomorrow, and if Asia did a top, London and New York might do a second top, so we might find ourselves again in a similar situation, but not trapped in a, you know, minus 50, minus 60% losing trade, and, you know, having to DCA to put more capital to manage the entry point, and then, you know, follow it down when it does start coming down. Let me check quickly on the 15 minutes to see if something has happened recently in the MAs. Now I have this thing. It might sound really superstitious, but I'll still tell it to you. When the 4 hours just changed half an hour ago. So when the 4 hours initial response is bullish, I've seen it reverse to bearish. So it seems that the first half hour of the new 4 hour pumped up towards the 20 on the 15 minute. These sideways swings are the hardest to read, in my opinion, because I'm looking at it and I'm noticing there have been two areas of accumulation, one of them here and one of them here. Now, is this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or is this the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Now, again, applying a simple rule here, now that I'm looking at the 15-minute MAs, I'd say it's we're most likely to come down and get the 200 tested. That was the support. This was the support here. So I'd say here might be the place where we might get a double bottom, maybe for a possible reversal. But let's see. Let's see. I would still be mindful of this entry point here. So again, it would be a greater timeline consolidation if, for instance, this were, come on, brush, there we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then heading up for 5 on the 10 towards the 10 MA on the day. So that might also be a possibility with all of this accumulation. So yeah, it's it's looking like this might be a possibility. Sideways are in my opinion, again, in my experience, harder to read as swings, and that's why I keep the levels and I keep the confirmation and the invalidation rules, because if I didn't, it can snap the other way around, and I know how to manage the position and how to DCA and improve the entry point so that I'll catch it on the next retracement. That's not the issue, but I will have that will add to my having to manage a trade that's trapped, and it's not something that any trader likes doing. And not in these times of volatility, because in these times of volatility, it's great to go with what the market's doing. So yeah, Lee, I would suggest that's what I'm gonna do. So it, you know, it's if it doesn't go there, happy days will keep coming down in the Asian session, which I think is what will happen, because this is by the way, let's measure this as a formation. So as a M, a greater M on the 1 hour. If this is a greater M on the 1 hour, 18,600. So once it breaks out, this would be the target. So 18,600. It generally wicks below it. So I picked 18,300, but that would be the target for this and the possible double bottom to go up. Again, I think this structure here is not the strongest to support a 30% lift. It's already done a lot, so it's already done 18%, 19%. So from where it wicked at the weekend, it's already done an almost 20% move. It needs now to retrace, and it would be great to, and Bitcoin has recently done on these smaller swings, it's done at least a 786. So the 786 retracement would be around 18,300, and yeah, that would be a possible target. If you want to be super sure to hit it, again, go for 18,500 or 18,600. It's a higher probability target, but again, don't, it's good to be conservative but not leave too much on the table. When I started, I'm mindful of saying that to you, because when I started trading, I was leaving 50% of the trade on the table, and wasn't an ideal situation. So again, it's good to, and then I went to extremes. I wasn't taking my targets because they were too strict. So somewhere in the middle is best. And then wait for the next one. There will be some structure that will show itself. Now, just on the point of DCAing, because I know Lee was asking in the chat. So here I would DCA on breaking this confirmation down, because it's been accumulating here, and then it starts distributing, starts coming down, and it's a way to maximize. It's a way to maximize your profits. But what you're doing is you're increasing your position. So when you're DCAing, you're putting more money into your trade, which increases your position. It increases your profits, but it also increases the risk. Of course, when the rewards are increased, risk is increased as well. So you will need to monitor it a little bit more carefully, and then you will need to make a decision at a turning point. So there are cases these days, and I've seen that on XRP. So Bitcoin is a lot smoother to trade. It meets the targets. XRP came short of a target at the weekend. So the same target that I had set for Bitcoin, XRPs didn't meet it, and then it wicked up and took away half of my profits. So you have to make a decision once it breaks that confirmation line in terms of staying more agile, and when you see it hitting a profit point, and then on the shorter time frame, because that's where these volatile move happen. They happen on the 15-minute or the 5-minute. But then when you see it coming close to your target, and you put more money into the trade, and you see, for instance, 2 or 3 candles around your target, but not, for instance, here. Here, I would have taken, if I had the, this is a perfect situation. I'm so happy I saw it. So how I would play this trade is I would have an order to take 50% profit here. Then I would watch it, and if it continues coming down, I would DCA in, and then I would keep watching it. And then if with more money in, of course, I've maximized the amount that I can gain. But if I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 hours, let's say 8, 2 hours is a generous time. No, I'll tell you what I do. I go for about 4 candles. So if there are 4 15-minute candles in and around the same area, I take my profit, I close my position, and then I wait for the next structure to show itself. And if I'm this close to a trend line, I will not be trading this until it hits the trend line or the next trend line, and it shows what it wants to do, because here is the middle of the middle, is the middle of the channel. But I would be taking my profits here because I want to take the money that's on the table, pay myself. So that's the word of caution that I wanted to tell you guys, because it's great to have the levels of confirmation. You have it, you can put more money in. But then when you put more money in, monitor it, because it can do something like this. And yes, eventually it does meet the target. But look at what's threatening to do here. It's threatening to come up. Sure, if you've got nerves of steel and you've had a very strong coffee and you've got the whole night to watch it, happy days. I've been there, done that. I was caught in this. Just to give me an extra bit here. Like literally we're talking about another 3%, which is great. But once you follow it from, let's say, here down to here, you've taken 9% of the trade. So you've taken 75% more. We say in trading, leave 30% on the table. You've left less than 30% on the table. So if you see about and by about, I mean there can be 3 candles, there can be 4 candles, there can be 8 candles of 15 minutes bottoming out or topping out. Take your profits. Take your profits, or take a juicier chunk of your profits if you still want to keep something in. If those profits mean something to you, and if you want to protect your position and the money that you've got in, watch it. And volatile times can go with us and for us in our favor, because we have more opportunities to trade. But they can always also change, reverse direction, and we're losing half of our profits because we haven't been sensitive enough to that turn. So yes, XRP did something like that, and I expected it to come lower and lower and lower, and it didn't, and wicked up. And then when it wicked up in a sort of like similar situation, I realized, oh wait, it's above the level. If this next 15-minute candle doesn't break this level, I'm taking my profit. So I took profit somewhere around here, but I had lost about I think about 30% of the trade. Yeah, so that's the lesson that I wanted to tell you about in terms of the strategy of DCA. Keep an eye on it. Now, for Ethereum's a lot neater in levels and structures. Let me go back to the daily. Where is the, yes, here it is. Okay. So Ethereum, I've done the same thing that I've done for Bitcoin. I've done the same triple top formation, next level target, and for Ethereum, the next level target would be somewhere. If this triple top formation, head and shoulders, whatever it is that you want to call it, comes to its completion, the next level would be somewhere around 600. Now we are looking at holding the 5 on the daily, so that's looking nice. Getting closer to the 10 on the daily at about 1200. It would be a nice level to reach. Again, it's looking like it has some wind in its sails, but unfortunately, the 4-hour, I believe, stochastic is equally exhausted, as it is for XRP and Bitcoin. So here's the 4-hour stochastic. I know it can stay up here if the momentum keeps going, but I also believe the shorter time frames as well need to, no, sorry, I take that back. The 1 hour is looking like it's coming from, yeah, the 15 minute. The 15 minute needs to reset itself, but the 1 hour seems to have come down to the bottom and is going up. Now, for Ethereum, in terms of levels of support and resistance, I have the next level would be about 450, 500. So again, if we're looking at the time that we spent in this region before coming up, and at the time before that we spent in this region before coming up, and at the time we spent here, and I'm using the swing on the left because that's the data that I have. So from here, the 10th of February to the 30th of March. So about now a month and 10 days. I know Ethereum is a little bit more, a little bit longer in accumulation, 24th to 24th a month, and this one was the longest one, I believe, 2nd of August to the 1st of November, so 2 months. September, no, 3 months, sorry. So this one was huge. So there's huge support here, support and resistance around the, I'll say 450. It's this wick is 490, around, let's say 450. There is some support around 600, which would be where this this target would be. Again, if we're holding this bottom, and if we're holding the 5 on the day, and then we're getting around or above the 10 on the day, things are looking like we might actually hit the 1500, which would be a huge lift. Again, 69%, because Ethereum's drop was deeper than Bitcoin's. So it would be about 70% of a lift. I believe there is some chance of doing that, but we need a bit more structure here at the bottom to do it. I believe a double bottom on the shorter time frame is needed for that lift. I have the same position when it comes to Ethereum and Bitcoin. They would need a stronger structure here at the bottom to consolidate and move upwards. And that double bottom, I'm watching it for both on the 1 hour, to trade it on the 1 hour, to take my signals on the 15 minutes, because it starts like we are in, I told you we're very volatile at the moment, and it starts, the market starts showing the signs on the shorter time frames initially. So until the daily or the 8 hour or the 12-hour change, the 1 hour and the 4 hour will change initially. So I'm watching the levels of 1150. There was literally like that's where we moved. That's the space that we moved in today. I was just looking at it, and you can hear it in my voice. Just it was literally watching grass grow today. So it's still a nice move. It's 5%. So if you catch it from the very top, you can trade it. You'd be in nice profit right now. Not complaining about that, but it is very much sideways. So it's not showing any signs of breaking through the 1150 or the 1000 or the 1050. So again, the 1050 would be the confirmation line. It's still it's a long-term support and resistance. The finer white lines are the support and resistance for long-term. It got rejected this morning. It got rejected at the 1150, and yesterday it got rejected once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. It got rejected. So I'll put a short-term divergence line on it, and I'll say, okay, this is broken the divergence, it's below it. Let's see if it keeps below it. And again, if it keeps below it, it's gonna break the $1050 and then head down for a double bottom target around. And again, I'll be super conservative with Ethereum, because Ethereum I said I expected it to come down and test the 850, and it came down to 880, 78, 81, 78. But anyways, I would put my target somewhere around here, about 950, maybe 970. No, let's leave it here, 950, just to be on the safe side. So that would be my next double bottom target. And in this way, with this double bottom target, I would be happier to see it move up, because I would know that it has accumulated. So I've seen news, I've seen articles talking about Bitcoin going up 45%. In order to go up 45% for Bitcoin and 60% for Ethereum, we need to see some consolidation. We need to see some foundation. This is too abrupt to be the start of a 60% move. Like, you see the kind of consolidation that it needed to get to this level. Now we came up very quickly here. Like, this took from the 13th of June to the 13th of June, 5 days, whereas this took from 18th to 20. So we're just day 2. We can't expect to be moving up levels 2, 2, 2. Especially when it's a known fact that accumulating requires more time. Going up takes steps. Coming down is a little bit faster because of the fear that kicks in and people start selling. But going up requires a little bit more patience, a little bit more work. It goes up in steps. Now, just to sum it all up, I believe that both Ethereum and Bitcoin have chances of doing a nice relief rally, maybe to the 20 on the day in the coming week/weeks. It can happen this week or next week. We'll see it as the 1 hour structures show themselves. We need to be holding the support of the previous bottom in order to get to the 20 MAs. And we will know, I think, in the coming days, we will know if we're going through if we're getting to the next level. So in the coming days, we will see probably. I have to stop flicking between the screens. So in the coming days, we will see some support and resistance levels being broken. This will happen naturally, either upwards or downwards. Downwards, take your profits closer to the double bottom. Upwards, follow it up, and again, level by level, DCA in. Be mindful of it topping out at the 10 MA on both of them. So the 10 MA is the 1200 for Ethereum, and the 12 MA is give me a second, because that's so the 10 MA on the daily is the 22,000. So be mindful of it topping out around those levels, because that might be the end of this impulse up, and then it might be coming down for a retracement down to the double bottom. So if you're in a short, you'd like to either have that liquidation covered or your stop loss at the entry point. Other than that, I'm enjoying trading this part of the market. Not particularly today because it was quite boring, but generally it's been a very productive time trading. Myself and Roy are having the 10x challenge, and I got to close my month at 4.2x, so 420% profit last month, which is great. Needed a lot of work for that. It's easier in bullish times than now, but it was good to get that done. I was talking to him about putting a channel on the Discord where we can post the challenges and the gains, because I think it's good to have that level of accountability as well. So that's it. That's it from me. Do you guys have any questions about Ethereum or any of them? I don't do XRP long term, but if you have any questions about it short term, we can check those out as well. Let me see who's in. Who do I say hi to? Very good. Clay's here. Neil's here. Neil's back. Are you still trading Ethereum, Neil?
Yeah, first time after a long time. Today I went to the store 11:55 or so.
11:55. Ah, very nice rejection. And you're still in it, right?
Yeah, stop loss is at entry. Because yeah, I've been caught out in the 1 a.m. moves and it just skyrockets.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
It's a hard lesson to learn. It's a hard lesson to learn. I've had, yeah. I wanna start telling you guys more about protecting your both your gains and your position in these volatile times, and then if you have to, you know, take a loss when the market reverses, it's better to go with it. I've switched to trading Bitcoin. I'm still TAing Ethereum every day because I think it's a great asset to observe. I switched to trading Bitcoin because Ethereum's levels are just driving me mad. They're just it's so sideways, and then it does something, and it's a big move, and it's just I don't enjoy it. And I realized it was sort of like affecting my trading mood, and I was like, no, I need to change something, because it wasn't the TA, it was just the way it's traded. Now let's see what Asia's gonna do. Again, Asia might do another lower high, or it can do a higher high. If Asia does a higher high, if Sydney does a higher high, then Tokyo and Hong Kong are probably going to do higher highs. And London has a tendency to follow in for the first move and then either keep it sideways until New York, and New York might do the same thing. So there might be like 4 little highs like we've had here, and then a New York reversal somewhere around 5 o'clock our time. That would be the daily flow. But yeah, be mindful of not getting caught in this, because it would be, imagine waking up with an 80% or even 40% in the red. Okay, super. So I'm gonna post this tomorrow. I'll edit it tonight and I'll post this tomorrow so that you have it. And I'll keep doing these 1 hour reviews every day so that we know where we are at the start of London and at the start of New York, because that's how I'm trading right now, and it's been working out. Have a beautiful evening. I'll see you tomorrow for London time.